Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with a couple of the coolest and possibly most illegal knives I've ever had on my channel. In front of you are a couple of Microtech out the front knives. Now, I've not experienced these knives before now, and so it was a lot of fun for me to get these in hand and see what they're all about. Of course, a lot of people know about these Microtech out the fronts. They're extremely popular and they sell out in seconds sometimes. And I'm beginning to understand a little bit more about why. While I'm not completely sold on the idea of the out the front yet, it was nice to get my hands on these and learn a little bit. So I first wanted to say thank you to my good buddy Nico. Follow him on Instagram at today'sgrail_tomorrow's_beater. What a nice guy. You know, we were buddies back in college. We're friends to this day. And he sends me a whole bunch of knives that are super awesome. Now, these come to me by way of Blade HQ. And I just wanted to start out by showing these things and how they work. So right here, we've got a Microtech Ultratech. This is sort of their mid-sized out the front, sort of for everyday carry style. This one has a carbon fiber front. It has bronzed hardware, and it looks really, really nice. So on this side, we've got the Marfione symbol for Tony Marfione, the birth date, and the signature. We've got a skull crusher on the back here, a little glass breaker type thing. And without further ado, oh yeah, this is the Hellhound Tanto grind. So this is probably their, I would say, coolest grind, at least their most intricate grind. A lot of them are just very typical everyday carry style grinds, but this one clearly has a little bit more of a tactical bent to it. And I do like that. It's pretty neat. I like the blade shape. It came very, very sharp. I will say though, for tasks other than basically stabbing human beings, this is probably not going to be the ideal blade shape. I will say that it's hollow ground out to the tip here, and so it is pretty sharp. It will slice through paper well, but all these holes and this fuller and this stuff up here, this is meant for damaging internal organs and then pulling it back out and doing it again. So very, very singular use for this particular knife. Now, look at the action there. That's just a whole lot of fun. This thing flies out of the handle, and then it flies back into the handle. Sometimes these things will mess up the sound on my videos, so I hope that it's not doing that. But look at that thing. It just teleports in and out of that handle. Now, speaking of teleporting, let's look at a very sci-fi version of this smaller EDC out the front for Microtech. This is the UTX-85. Now this is a very special one. If you look on this clip, we've got a very different logo. For those of you who are Star Wars nuts, you may recognize that as the Jedi symbol right there. And the little JM notation also indicates that this is the Jedi Master. So this is very much a little lightsaber, and this just takes it to that next level of fun right here. If you are a Star Wars fan, and you're also a knife guy, I can see where the love of this knife comes from. And I am definitely strongly considering picking up one of those Boba Fett out the fronts. Those are just the coolest damn things I've ever seen. But this one is very neat. This definitely has a much more user-friendly blade shape. It does have a green coating on it. Let me see what that is right there, see if it comes off. Just a little water on there, a little oil. But definitely a more user-friendly. Again, nicely, this one is a flat grind out to the tip here. This one also came nice and sharp. Microtech does know how to sharpen an edge. All of the knives I've ever had from them are very sharp. I wish that I had my stitch here with me right now. Unfortunately, that's out actually getting a mirror-polished wicked edge. So that'll be back shortly, but it was really fun to get these in hand. So let's go over some of the specs of these two knives now that I've shown them off to you. So right here, the Ultratech Hellhound. First off, the price is $357 from Blade HQ. The overall length is 8.375 inches with a 3.375 inch blade. There's 3.125 inches of cutting length, so that's a nice EDC size. I'm a big fan of around the 3.5 inch length there. But because of the mechanisms, this requires a rather long handle for a rather short blade, and that's okay if you're just understanding what you're picking up. The blade is made of L-Max. It's a rather thin 0.13 inches in thickness. I do appreciate that. Too many blades are coming in at the 0.16, and it makes it not an ideal slicer. Obviously, it's got the Tanto grind here. It's got a really nice stone wash. It almost looks like it's bronzed like the hardware is. Sorry, it's having trouble focusing on all these different things. The handle is 5 inches in length, and it's 0.47 inches in width, so this will carry really nicely in the pocket. These Microtech clips are extremely usable. I love the one on my Stitch, and these are very similar, and they work very, very well. Now, one of the breaking points for some folks is the fact that these handles are made of aluminum. It's a high-grade aluminum alloy, like aircraft grade, and to be honest, I've learned to love it. On my Stitch, the handles are aluminum, and after having it for a little while, you love the low weight, and it's just as strong. We're never really going to get to the material limits of this carbon fiber, or if this were titanium. So it's a little bit silly of us, but we do, I like to have high-end materials just like anyone else, but this aluminum is just fine. I don't know how this black coating will hold up to long-term use. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who have these. It seems like it does a pretty good job. The overall weight on this guy is listed as 3.71 ounces. Let's see how close that is to reality. Actually, it's considerably lighter than that, 3.21 ounces. So that's pretty nice. Let's get its smaller brother over here and see what this looks like here. 3 ounces on this smaller one right here. So both very, very carryable weights right there. Really, really like that a lot. So this one is actually classified as a double action. So some out the fronts, including some Microtechs, have got a charging handle where you have to reload the blade, but this one has that extra convenience of being able to just pull it right back into the handle. So let's get into some specs on this UTX right here, the UTX-85 Jedi Master. This costs about $275 from Blade HQ. This also has an L-Max steel blade coming in at 3.125 inches. The overall length is 7.6 inches. And this is more of a drop point style right here. The handle length is shorter at 4.5 inches and 0.44 inches in thickness. So much more carryable on this one. A little bit sleeker, slimmer. This one is full aluminum. There's no carbon fiber on the front. It's got this little detail going on right here. That's pretty nice. Now, one thing that Microtech does pretty well is it adds sort of grip where there needs to be grip. You get your forward finger on this sort of jimping here, your finger on this jimping right here. Your fingers fall onto that grip right there, and you've got a nice, solid, firm grip on this, despite the fact that it's rather smooth aluminum elsewhere. So you got to really love that. I'm a big fan of these knives. They are made in the USA, so you've got to love that. Now, we've just got to talk about the elephant in the room here, and that is really that out-the-front knives are illegal in most places. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that it would be illegal for me to carry these where I live right now. I just keep them in the house. I have no intention of carrying these. They don't belong to me. I have used them around the house and had a whole lot of fun with them, cut a little bit of stuff with them. No formal testing, but it is a whole lot of fun, and I think that's where the main appeal of these knives come. It's not really from the usability or the EDC ability or its cutting ability, but rather the amazing fun that you can have just doing this all day long. And with a Microtech, you've got a very high quality spring and launch system in there, and so you can do that all day long without messing up any of the internals. One small little thing that bothers me, as with most out-the-front knives, there's a little bit of this. Up, down, left to right. Now, there's no back and forth play, but there's a lot of blade wiggle that comes with these knives. Now, for most people, that won't really bother them. They kind of understand that comes with the territory, but, it just kind of takes away from it a little bit. These are rather expensive knives. These are not really cheap. You could have a very solid frame lock flipper for this price. And some people might just be a little bit upset by that. I don't think it's really going to affect your cutting terribly much, but that is just one of the things that people talk about. Now, Grant and Gavin Hawk have an out the front that seems to get rid of that wobble. Go and check out Jim Skelton's video on that one. But I'm happy to bring you guys these knives. I'm happy to try some of these Microtech out the fronts. I'm super tempted to go and pick up one of the Boba Fett knives. We'll see if that pans out one of these days. Anyways, guys, click like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram at Dr. Frunkey and my buddy at today'sgrail_tomorrow's beater on Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, take care.